Hey gang, today we're going to be talking about a fourth type of transformation called a dilation. This is the only of the four transformations that actually changes the size of the shape and creates a similar shape instead of a congruent shape. It's going to be similar because the two shapes will be in proportion to each other, but they will no longer be congruent to each other because one will be either larger or smaller than the other. The image produced by enlarging or reducing a figure is called a dilation. To complete a dilation on a coordinate plane, simply multiply each coordinate by the given scale factor. You should notice that the shape will either move closer to or further away from the origin as it acts as the center of dilation in this case. A scale factor less than 1 will produce a smaller figure that is closer to the origin. It makes it shrink. A scale factor greater than 1 will produce a larger figure that is further from the origin. It makes the image enlarge. All right, so we're going to start by graphing P0, 8, E, -4, 4, and N, 4, -4 on this coordinate plane. All right, so P0, 8 is way up here, and we make sure we label that. Then E, -4, -4 is left 4 and down 4. And N, 4, -4 is right 4 and down 4. So we get this really large isosceles triangle. And it's isosceles because the two sides are going to be congruent to each other. So it's like having two eyes, therefore isosceles. And you're doing your best to draw it nice and neat. It took me a couple tries there because I can't use a ruler on the board. Then we're going to graph the image of pen prime after dilation with a scale factor of 1/4. So we need to multiply the original coordinates by 1/4 to get our new coordinates. So now 0 times 1/4 stays as 0, and 8 times 1/4 is 8 divided by 4, which is 2, and that's going to be our p prime. Then -4 times 1 divided by 4 is -1, and the same for the next -4, -1 again, that's our e prime. And then again, 1 and -1 for our n prime. Again, multiplying by 1/4 is like dividing by 1/4, but whenever we're using a scale factor, we're really multiplying, not dividing. It just happens to be dividing there because it's a fraction. So we can graph those three. 0, 2 is p prime, -1, -1 is e prime, and 1, -1 is n prime. And there is our smaller shape, our smaller triangle that is closer to the origin because we made it shrink, not enlarge. So again, if the shape is being dilated with a scale factor less than 1, it's going to come closer to the origin. If it's being dilated with a scale factor greater than 1, it's going to go further away from the origin. And we'll see that again in a moment. Okay, next one. First, starting with graphing those new coordinates. Q is -4, -2. U is -4, -4. A is -2, -2. And D is -2, -4. Now, instead of graphing Q, U, A, D, let's do Q, U, D, A. And we get this small 2 by 2 square. We're going to graph that image of quad prime after dilation with a scale factor of 3. So we need to multiply all those original coordinates by 3. So q prime, if I multiply q by 3, is going to be -4 times 3, which is -12, and -2 times 3, which is -6. U prime is going to be -12, -12, because 4 times 3 is 12. A prime is going to be -6, -6, because 2 times 3 is 6. And D prime is going to be -6, -12, because -2 times 3 is -6, and -4 times 3 is -12. So now graphing that, we have -12, -6, which is all the way at the end, and then down 6 is here for Q prime. U prime is -12, -12, all the way down here. A prime is -6, -6. and d prime is -6, -12, creating this much larger square further away from the origin. And if you compare, this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, this is 2. This is 6, this is 6, this is 6, this is 6. And 2 times 6 is, or 2 times 3 is 6, proving that our scale factor is 3 because we took our 2 by 2 or square and made it a 6 by 6 square. Okay, so you're going to try 3 and 4 on your own. All right, back to me for some algebra. Rectangle quad's length is 3 less than twice its width. Rectangle quad prime is the image of quad dilated by 2/3. Rectangle quad prime's perimeter is 32. Find the dimensions of both rectangles. All right, so we start with this rectangle, and it tells us that the length is 3 less than twice its width. So x and 2x minus 3. And rectangle quad is the image of that one dilated by 2/3. So first let's start with the perimeter because it tells us perimeter. So remember, perimeter is when we add all the sides. So if I find the perimeter here, I have x, 2x minus 3, and 2x minus 3 again gives me 6x minus 6. Now, if I dilate that, I'm multiplying by 2/3. So that's 2/3 times 6x minus 6 equals 32. So 2/3 times 6x is 6 divided by 3, which is 2, times 2, which is 4x. So it's 4x minus 4 equals 32. Add 4 to both sides. We get 4x equals 36. Divide by 4, and we get x equals 9. So we can plug that in now and find our original image. So this is going to be 9, and then 2 times 9 is 18, minus 3 is 15. So our original image is 9 by 15. And if we multiply that by 2/3, it's going to be a little bit smaller. And 2/3 of 9 is 6. And 2/3 of 15 is 10. So it would be 6 by 10. Okay, so we have enough there that we could do a lot of work to figure out the dimensions of the original rectangle and the dimensions of the new rectangle. And again, if I added 10 and 10, 6 and 6, I would get 32, which is the dilated image's perimeter. All right, so you are now on your own to try some exit tickets and then move on to the homework.